Welcome, guys. It is Title Fridays. So let's talk about title, what title is. And we just happen to have Miss Jennifer Jones here with Lakeside Title. So she has been gracious enough to help us talk to you guys about what really goes on in title. As agents, we know a little bit, but we want the experts that tell you the truth. So the first question for Miss Jennifer Jones today, and thank you for joining us, is what is title?
What is title? Well, title, we protect your ownership, your interest in the property. My job is to protect the homeowner's property rights. That is my job.
So you do something called a title search. What does that involve?
A title search for a residential property is 60 years at the county land records. For a commercial property is 100 years. And when I say 60 years, 100 years, we research the property, the dirt, from 60 years back, and then the commercial properties, we research it 100 years back. And the purpose of that is to make sure that title has transferred properly. Mr. and Mrs. Jones sold it to Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Mr. and Mrs. Jones's mortgages are paid off. We verify, that any liens are released. There's a lot of items that go into the title search.
So, do you think that everyone would need title insurance?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Title insurance protects you as the homeowner. The mortgage companies, your banks, are requiring that you purchase lender's title insurance. That is a requirement of your loan. They require you to protect the lender's investment in the property. Why would you not protect your home, your ownership, your interest in the property? And there's only one way to do that, and that's with owner's title insurance. You are not protected underneath the lender's title insurance policy.
So one thing that comes up, I know, when we're dealing with buyers and sellers and things of that nature, is like an advanced title search and just a regular. I'm not saying it's advanced, not advanced. It's something else. It's like a platinum package or something.
There are two different policies. There's the enhanced title insurance policy and the basic title insurance policy. And everyone wants to know, well, what's the difference? What's the cost difference? The cost difference, honest to goodness, is based on your sales price, but the difference between the basic policy and the enhanced policy is a couple $100 in the big picture, but it's always best to contact your settlement agent to make sure that you know the cost difference between the enhanced policy and the basic title insurance policy.
So what would happen if somebody chose not to get title insurance and something comes up?
So if you choose not to purchase owner's title insurance, if you were sitting at my settlement table, I hope that you don't not purchase title insurance. But if you don't purchase title insurance and there is a lien that is possibly recorded in a different county that should have been recorded in your county that your property is owned in, that lien can actually be attached to your property and you would be responsible for paying that lien because you didn't buy title insurance. You don't have anything to protect your ownership. Title insurance protects you, your interest, your heirs from the day that you purchase your property until you physically sell it or you heirs sell it.
Gotcha. Okay. So if a lien was filed and you don't have title insurance, if you did have title insurance would take care of that lien. Gotcha. That's what a lot of people should understand. That bill is not yours to take care of. That's what a lot of people would probably panic about. But this is a safe all just to make sure you are covered just in case there's something out there.
Yes.
Even on new construction.
Most definitely on new construction. You have to remember, new construction, they bought a large tract of land, a huge parcel of land, and they are subdividing into smaller lots. You most definitely want to make sure that you have your owner's title insurance because a lot of times new construction builders will get a large loan for that huge piece of property, and every time each lot is subdivided, they have to get a lien release, a release against that smaller lot, and sometimes that's not done. And if that's not done, then the new homeowner has a lien that's not against them, against the builder and their mortgage. And that's an issue. That's a title issue. And title insurance does protect you if something like that happens.
Okay, so we get a lot of questions asking, like, every time someone's about to close, why do we have all these fees? What fees are they looking at when they come to a title company?
When you are shopping or looking at for your title company, you're always most likely going to have a title exam, which a title exam fee is for the attorneys to review your title abstract. They're examining the history of your property. They also have a recording fee, a document preparation fee. You might have a closing protection letter. A closing protection letter is part of your lender's title insurance policy. And you have your title insurance, your lender's title insurance, and your owner's title insurance. One thing I will say is owner's does say it's optional, and it is an optional item. However, I would not purchase a property without having owner's title insurance. That is the only policy that will protect your home, your ownership, your castle. That's it.
So, favorite thing we hear in Maryland, I'm a first-time home buyer, but in different spaces, first-time home buyers mean different things. So in the title world, what is a true first-time home buyer in Maryland?
So when realtors come to us and ask about a first-time home buyer, the easiest way to remember this is it's one time. It's very much like our virginity. It's one and done.
Yes.
You don't get any take backs. You don't get any seconds. That's it. And when I say Maryland first time home buyer, we're referring to the recordation tax. The recordation tax is 0.25% that the state will waive. You are exempt if you are a Maryland first time home buyer, which means you've never owned and occupied a piece of property in the state of Maryland. Occupied as your primary residence.
Surveys. There's a thing where people will ask, you will call and say, hey, do you guys want a survey of the property? Can you explain to us what an actual survey is and why people need these things?
So a survey will tell you where your home is on your parcel of land and if there's any encroachments. There are two different surveys. There's a location drawing and a boundary survey. A location drawing is 9 times out of 10 what most consumers will obtain when they're purchasing the property. One, it's a lot cheaper. Two, there is a variance, a 2 to 3 foot variance, meaning the surveyor will go out to the property and see if there's any encroachments, meaning is there a fence on your land or your neighbor's land? Is the driveway encroaching your neighbor? If there's any encroachments based on that location drawing, then the surveyor will contact your settlement agent, and then the settlement agent will then contact your realtor to see if a boundary survey, and a boundary survey is much more expensive, but it gives you a little bit more information, and a boundary survey would clear up any potential encroachments with the driveway or the fence.
Okay.
The location drawing, we always start with first. It's a lot less money. And then the boundary survey. Boundary survey is a case-by-case basis.
Cool. So, in closing, one of the things a lot of people say is, okay, well, if I paid you all this money to find out everything beforehand, what does title do for me after I go to closing?
So one thing I will say is, not to pull up my history hat, but Abraham Lincoln's parents lost 2 different properties because they didn't have the proper documentation. Yes, I'm talking about Honest Abe's parents. And you said, what do you do after closing? Well, title insurance never has to be renewed, repaid, ever. It ensures that you own your home. So if something comes up, say that there's a lien that wasn't recorded from 3 years ago, and they want to record it, and you've owned the property for 1.5 years, and they try to record a lien, we will protect your interest in the future if something like that comes up, as long as it's not against you.
Okay.
And also, once you close, you're going to get all this different mail. Should they pay attention to all this stuff they're getting sent after they close?
I would always double check to make sure. You're gonna get a ton of junk mail. A lot of it's going to say pay money for a copy of your deed, pay for this, pay for that. You don't need to pay for anything. The original deed will come back to you from the county directly. You can also contact your title company and they will also supply you with a copy of your recorded deed. And no, do not pay any of that. You can always call your realtors or your settlement agent to make sure that they are valid documents that you need.
Cool. Well, we are here with Ms. Jennifer Jones at Lakeside. She has answered all of our crazy questions. And if you have more, shoot them in. Shoot myself or Justine a DM or a comment on the video below just so we can know if there are more questions. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.